Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Last video of the day, and I will say that is getting a little bit crazy out there. Oh yeah. So it seems that that there's a few things that Google is trying to do that is for all about Section 230 and all that great stuff. So that way they won't get sued into oblivion about certain things. But you know. It seems that Tim Pool and Carl Benjamin is on the same route. Granted, I am new to this YouTube game, right? So I have probably barely been on YouTube for like maybe a year. And I don't even want to count that because if I was actually on YouTube for a year, I would actually be doing more actual consistent work for about a year in terms of uploading videos, right? And I know I have not been doing that for you guys, and which is honestly my fault, and I need to do better. So that being said, I can't really say I've been on for a full year, even if it does come down to the year mark. But I will say this. I do notice some YouTube things happening here and there. I have watched these people way before prior to this. I don't even know anything too much about political stuff, but it's crazy that what things have been happening. First, I'm going to go forward with the Tim Pool and then go off of Sargon and Akkad with this Carl Benjamin, which I do enjoy from time to time. Google, Temple is saying Google is trying to get YouTubers to lobby on their behalf to protect the current iteration of Section 230. You'll start to notice videos and social posts defending it. These are not organic. I have another call with Google about it today. And then Tim Pool, I may believe, goes on to say that Google unfortunately canceled my call with them. Section 230 is vital to a free and open internet, but big tech should not be free to editorialize and be immune at the same time. 100% agree. They should not be able to pretty much decide whether you can publish things or whatever, what have you. So I would agree with this statement. Carl Benjamin has also had something to say about this as well. He says that the way YouTube has treated its content creators, why we should come to its defense. We have been deplatformed, demonetized, and tyrannized by an extremely restrictive set of editorial policies imposed by Lord Susan. Section 230 was supposed to prevent this. 100% agree. Maybe we have from people with obviously touches guys with a great speck of salt, because this is also controlled by Jeff Bezos. But the Washington Post says tech group urges DOJ to take sides in Supreme Court Section 230 bout. The only reason why I may actually believe this specific article in general is because I would not be surprised at all in the slightest that the tech groups or any of the people in Silicon Valley would want to urge DOJ to take sides with the Supreme Court Section 230 bout, mostly due to the fact that to protect them in general. So it seems that a lot of this is going on. I'll read a little bit of this. I don't want to read too much because I hate reading Washington Post and a lot of stuff that they say, mostly due to the fact that a lot of their stuff it happens to be wrong. And I don't even like saying too much about the New York Post as well, because I don't think that's all that great either. But the Washington Post I really have issues with in general. So I'm only going to read a very brief amount of it, and I'll go on to say what my spiel is about all this stuff and what have you. A center-left tech group funded by Google, Apple, and other companies is calling on the Biden administration to come to the defense of the industry's embattled liability shield, Section 230, in a high-stakes legal case picked up by the Supreme Court. In a letter Monday to the Attorney General, Merrick Garland shared exclusive with the Technology 202, the Chamber of Progress urged the Justice Department to file a brief pushing back on calls to hold platforms and become accountable for amplifying harmful content. The Supreme Court last month agreed to hear Gonzalez v. Google, which will consider whether the tech giant is liable for allegedly recommended terrorist content to users through algorithms on its subsidiary video sharing platform, YouTube. For decades, Section 230 has broadly shielded digital services from lawsuits for hosting and making good faith efforts to moderate objectionable content, but it's increasingly come under attacks from advocates and public officials who say it has allowed the tech giant to escape responsibility for the decisions policing content. Legal experts say the case, the first time the High Court would directly weigh in on the law, could have sweeping ramifications for how companies handle user-generated content. 100% agree on that one statement. But again, as I stated before, I think this is a massive thing. If the courts are able to make it to where these media platforms are responsible for all this stuff or what have you, and really change it for the better, then this is something that we need, because that would mean that the people or have more control and power than anything else. And that was what really starts crumbling down places like Twitter, especially places like Google, to where they just can't just do this stuff arbitrarily, which means that more videos will start popping up that were talking about this stuff and all this stuff that we would want to hear, right? I think that people's voice, no matter what side of the political aisle that they're on, their voices should be heard. Silencing freedom of speech is one thing that never gets voices heard and allows only one voice to be heard, and opinions can't be shared. Things can't progress because we don't get to see people's ideological values. And when we have this stuff out and freedom of speech is allowed, everybody's political values are open, and everybody gets to speak their mind, and correct things get to be allowed and shared among the rest of the people. I know a lot of people are not really political, and rightfully so. I think the political climate right now is very destructive to people's mental health, or just in general. But we have to keep fighting back, and this is one way where we can fight back. And the reason why I want to do this, the reason why I want to make change, is to see how we can change today's society. I understand that that in the videos of past I've been very contradictory to you people, but this is mostly due to the fact that the only way for people to really start understanding the true bare fruits of their labor, the reasons why people need to understand, is that you guys have to know that you may also be potentially the reason why society will crumble, potentially the reason why society will not be able to get better, because you will keep advocating or sending money to people or to corporations that will ultimately be your demise. And that's one way that we can fight back, is by just not sending money to these corporations, trying to stand more strongly on our morals, and try to fight back, obviously, against the government. Because let's be honest here, guys, the government is not here for us. They're here for themselves. They want to control the people. We want to avoid becoming like China, if at all possible. We do not want to become like fodder, like people in China are. It's disgusting. And I think this is one way where we can combat this and bring this information to light, and trying to battle all these insane radical people, especially the social media platforms that have us by an iron foothold almost, it needs to be shown and come to light. So I'm hoping that this video, the very short video, kind of enlightens you onto that fact, brings you guys to really start thinking of what we can do to fix this country and bring us back onto the right path. And I think there's many ways that can be done. Alright guys, that's it for the video. Like, subscribe, share, and as always, take care.